Welcome back, brave women. Have you ever noticed how time has a way of revealing the truth? How a man can walk away, thinking he's won, thinking life will go on just fine without you, only to wake up one day and feel a pain so deep, so unbearable, that he can't escape it? Right now he believes he made the right choice. He believes he can move on, forget, replace what he had with you. But what he doesn't realize is that time is not his ally, it's his greatest enemy. And the longer he goes without you, the more it will hurt. Seneca once said, "Time discovers truth." And that's exactly what's about to happen. Because right now, he doesn't see it. He's still lost in the illusion, still distracted, still believing that he can walk away without consequence. But time has a way of breaking illusions. It strips away distractions. It forces a man to face the weight of his own choices. And the truth? The truth is that he didn't just lose a woman. He lost something irreplaceable. And as the days pass, as the silence grows, as your absence settles into every corner of his life, he will feel it. He will feel the loss. He will feel the emptiness. And no matter what he does, he won't be able to escape it. At first, he might not notice. He might still be caught up in whatever pulled him away. He might think he's happy. He might think he's fine. But queens, let me tell you something about men. They always realize too late. They always believe they can walk away without looking back, until one day they do. And when they look back, that's when the pain begins. Because time is a ruthless teacher. Time does not soften the truth. It sharpens it. It does not let a man forget. It forces him to remember. And the longer he goes without you, the clearer it will become. No one else will ever make him feel the way you did. Think of a man lost in the desert. At first, he feels fine. The sun is shining, and he thinks he's found a better path. But as time passes, as the heat intensifies, as the thirst sets in, he begins to feel the weight of his mistake. He begins to long for water, for relief, for something real. And by the time he realizes what he left behind, it's too late. That is exactly what's happening to him. Right now, he doesn't see it. But soon, he will. The warmth, the depth, the love you gave, it will haunt him. Because what he had with you was not ordinary, and once a man loses something rare, he spends the rest of his life searching for it in vain. But here's the thing, you are not waiting. You are not standing still, watching the clock, hoping he realizes his mistake. You are rising. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, untouchable. Because this is not about him. This is about you, about reclaiming your power, about becoming the woman who no longer waits for anyone to wake up and see her worth. Because queens, listen to me, a man who was blind enough to walk away does not deserve the privilege of watching you rise. Right now, you might feel the sting of his absence. You might wonder if he ever thinks about you. You might replay moments, question what went wrong. But let me tell you something. He will think about you. He will feel the weight of his choices. And when he does, when time finally breaks through his illusions, when he sees what he lost, he will crave what he once had. But by then, the door will be locked. The bridge will be burned. The chapter will be closed. Because you are not a woman who waits to be remembered. You are not a woman who begs to be chosen. You are the prize, the force, the fire. And from this moment forward, you will carry yourself like it. You will walk with the kind of confidence that makes the world take notice. You will reign. And him? Let time teach him. Let time remind him. Let time be the punishment he never saw coming. Because while he sits in silence, staring at his phone, waiting for a message that will never come, watching you glow from a distance, feeling the ache of a love he can never reclaim. You will be too busy living the life he was too blind to appreciate. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. The longer he goes without me, the more it hurts. Let the world know that you are done waiting, done hoping, done proving yourself to a man who didn't see your worth when he had the chance. And if this message awakened something inside you, if it reminded you of the power you've always had, like this video and subscribe. We are here to remind you of your strength, your value, your unshakable power. Because you were never meant to be forgotten, you were meant to reign. Number 1. The echo of your absence will grow louder every day. Have you ever noticed how silence can be the loudest sound in the world? How an empty space, a missing voice, an unanswered message can echo louder than a scream. Right now, he doesn't hear it. Right now, he thinks he's free, that life moves forward, that he made the right choice. But time has a way of amplifying what was once ignored, and the longer he goes without you, the louder your absence will become. At first, he will feel nothing, maybe even relief. He will convince himself that this was what he wanted, that walking away was the right decision. He will fill his days with distractions, his nights with empty conversations, thinking that as long as he keeps moving, he won't feel the weight of what he lost. But time is not his friend, because time does not erase, it reminds. Time does not comfort, it confronts. And as the days pass, as the noise fades, he will start to hear it. The echo of what he had with you, the presence of your absence. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And his thoughts, they will turn back to you, slowly at first. A memory triggered by a familiar scent, a song playing in the background, a joke that would have made you laugh. Then those moments will become more frequent, stronger, louder. He will try to shake it off to pretend it doesn't matter, but the silence left behind will become unbearable. Because that silence, that is the sound of everything he took for granted. Imagine standing in a canyon. At first, the world feels open, endless. But the moment you speak, your own voice comes back to you, louder, stronger, impossible to ignore. That is exactly what will happen to him. The more time passes, the more he will hear the echo of you in every quiet moment. And no matter how far he runs, no matter how much he tries to drown it out, he cannot escape the sound of what he lost. Right now, he doesn't see it. He still believes he made the right choice. But men like him always do. They always think they have time. They always think they can walk away and return whenever they choose, until they realize the truth. Time does not heal the loss of something rare. Time makes it hurt more. He will wake up one day and feel the difference. The way life feels duller without you in it. The way the world doesn't shine the same way it used to. And the worst part, he won't be able to do anything about it. But you are not waiting for him to hear the echo of your absence. You are not sitting in the shadows, hoping he realizes what he lost. No, queens, you are rising. You are stepping into the life you were always meant to live. A life where your worth is not something a man decides. A life where you are not an afterthought, a choice, an option. Because you are not meant to be remembered only when it's too late. You are meant to reign. This is your moment to break free from the past and step into your power, to let time do its work, not on you, but on him. Because the most powerful thing you can do is let him feel the silence. Let him sit in it. Let him hear the absence of your love, your voice, your presence. Let him drown in the echoes of what he lost. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. The silence of my absence will be louder than my words ever were. Let the world know that from this moment forward, you are done proving, done explaining, done waiting. And if this message reminded you of your strength, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, bringing you the truth, the power, and the lessons that will set you free. Because you were never meant to chase, you were meant to be unforgettable. Number 2. Every clock he looks at will remind him of you. Have you ever noticed how time slows down when something is missing? How the ticking of a clock feels louder when silence fills the space where love used to be? Right now, he thinks he's moving forward. He believes he made the right choice. But what he doesn't know yet is that time is about to become his greatest enemy. Every second, every minute, every hour that passes without you will remind him of what he lost. And the longer he goes without you, the more it will hurt. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Time is like a river. It carries all things away, but it also brings them back in unexpected ways." Right now, he doesn't see what's coming. He's caught up in the illusion that life will be the same without you. But time has a way of breaking illusions. He may have walked away, but time will bring back the truth. And when it does, it will hit him harder than he ever expected. At first, he won't notice. He'll go about his days, distracted by new things, new people, new experiences. But slowly, without warning, time will turn against him. He will look at the clock, and instead of seeing just numbers, he will see you. The time when you used to call, the late nights when you would talk for hours, the mornings when your voice was the first thing he heard. The moments that once felt ordinary will now feel like ghosts, haunting him every time he checks the time. Think of a man standing in front of an empty hourglass. The sand has already fallen, the time has already run out, but he keeps flipping it over, hoping for another chance. That is exactly what will happen to him. At first he will ignore it. He will convince himself that he made the right decision. But as time stretches on, the weight of the moments he once took for granted will start to crush him. He will feel the absence of your love, like a void that nothing else can fill. Because here's the truth, he did not just lose a relationship. He lost time that he can never get back. The hours he thought he had with you, the future he believed was his to claim whenever he wanted, gone. And no matter how much he wishes to turn back the clock, no matter how many times he looks at his phone, staring at the time when you used to be there, he will never be able to bring those moments back. He will start to wonder, what is she doing right now? He will look at the clock, and instead of moving forward, he will find himself stuck in the past. Every special date, every anniversary, every reminder of what was once his. Time will bring it all back. And the worst part, the one person who could have made those moments mean something is no longer there. But you are not looking at the clock. You are not counting the days. You are not waiting for him to wake up and realize your worth. Because, queens, time does not break you. It builds you. While he drowns in regret, you're rising. While he waits for a message that will never come, you're stepping into a version of yourself that is untouchable. You're not lost in the past. You're building your future. And by the time he realizes what he lost, by the time he truly feels the weight of the time he wasted, it will be too late. Because you will no longer be the woman he remembers. You will be something greater, something he can never reach again. So let time do its work. Let every ticking second remind him of you. Let every passing hour bring him closer to the truth. Because the longer he goes without you, the deeper the pain will sink in. And when that moment finally comes, when he stares at the clock and realizes he let go of something he can never get back, he will feel a regret that no amount of time can erase. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. Every second without me is a second of his regret. Let the world know that you are done waiting, done hoping, done proving your worth to a man who didn't see it when he had the chance. And if this message lit something inside you, if it reminded you of the power you have always had, like this video and subscribe. We are here, bringing you the truth, the lessons, and the wisdom you need. Because you were never meant to chase, you were meant to reign. Number 3. The spaces you once filled will feel like a void. He cannot escape. Have you ever noticed how a room feels different when something important is missing? How an empty chair, a quiet space, or even the absence of a familiar voice can make everything feel off. Right now, he doesn't feel it. He believes he can walk away, move forward, and never look back. He thinks that life will go on without you just as easily as before. But time will prove him wrong, because the spaces you once filled will soon feel like a void he cannot escape. At first, he might enjoy the silence. He might believe he has made the right choice. He might tell himself that everything is as it should be. But silence is deceiving, because as time passes, that silence will start to feel heavy. The bed will feel colder. The days will feel longer. The places you once walked together will no longer feel the same. And slowly, he will start to notice something. No matter how much he tries to ignore it, something is missing. Seneca once said, "What was hard to bear is sweet to remember." That's exactly what will happen to him. The very things he once took for granted will become the things he longs for the most. The way you laughed, the way you made ordinary moments feel special, the way you understood him like no one else ever could. He will remember all of it. And the more time passes, the more he will crave it. But by then, that space will no longer belong to him. Think of a house that once had a warm, glowing fire inside. When the fire was burning, it brought warmth, comfort, life. But the moment the fire is ignored, the moment it is left unattended, it begins to fade. And soon, the house grows cold. He was careless with the fire you brought into his life. He believed he could walk away and still feel its warmth. But what he didn't realize is that fire does not wait. Once it dies, it cannot be rekindled. And now, he's left in the cold, longing for something he can never have again. He thought you were just another person in his life, one he could replace, one he could forget. But now, the spaces where you once stood feel emptier than ever. He will search for distractions, try to fill the void with new people, new experiences, anything that can make him forget. But nothing will feel the same. Because love like yours does not come twice. No one will make him feel the way you did. No one will touch his soul like you did. No one will make a house feel like home the way you did. And as time stretches on, that void will only grow deeper. But queens, listen to me. You are not the one who lost. You are not the one left with an emptiness that cannot be filled. He is. And the longer he goes without you, the heavier that emptiness will become. But you are rising. You are stepping into your power, building a life so full, so radiant, that the space he left behind will be nothing more than a distant memory. You are not waiting. You are not looking back. Because a woman who knows her worth does not chase. She reigns. There will come a day when he finally realizes what he lost, when he sits in the silence and understands that no amount of distractions, no amount of replacements, no amount of time will ever fill the space where you once stood. And on that day, he will regret everything. But by then, you will be too far ahead for him to ever reach again. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. The space I left behind will never be filled again. Let the world know that you are done waiting, done proving, done hoping for a man who let go of something priceless. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of the fire that has always been inside you, like this video and subscribe. We are here, creating life-changing lessons. Because Queens, you were never meant to be forgotten. You were meant to reign. Number 4. No other love will feel like yours, and that realization will destroy him. Have you ever seen a man hold something precious in his hands, only to toss it aside like it was nothing? Have you ever watched as he walked away, convinced that he could replace something rare with something easy? Right now, he believes he can. He believes love is just a matter of finding another person, another moment, another distraction. But what he doesn't understand yet, what time will soon teach him, is that no other love will ever feel like yours. And when that truth finally hits him, it won't just hurt. It will destroy him. Seneca once said, "What was hard to suffer is sweet to remember." Right now, he doesn't know that the love you gave, the way you cared, the way you stood by his side through everything, that was something men spend a lifetime searching for. But the longer he goes without you, the more he will feel the weight of his own mistake. At first, he won't notice. He will be too caught up in his own choices, too distracted by whatever he thought was better. Maybe he believes she can make him forget. Maybe he tells himself he's happier now. But time is cruel to men like him. Because while he tries to move forward, something will always feel wrong. The laughter won't sound the same. The conversations won't have the same depth. The way she looks at him won't make him feel like the man he once was when he was with you. And little by little, the truth will creep in. He lost something he will never find again. Love is not about just being with someone. It's about connection, about energy, about the way two souls fit together. And your love was one of a kind. He might not see it now, but one day he will compare every woman to you, and none of them will measure up. He will search for your fire, your warmth, your patience, your strength, but no one will give it to him the way you did. And when he realizes that, that's when the pain begins. Think of a rare perfume, the kind that lingers long after the person wearing it has left the room. At first, it's intoxicating. It fills the air, unforgettable. But when it's gone, it leaves nothing but a longing, a craving for something that can never be replaced. That is exactly what will happen to him. The scent of your love, the presence of your energy, it will haunt him. He will chase it in new hands, new lips, new voices. But every time he thinks he's found it, he will realize it's not the same. It's weaker, less meaningful, temporary. And then one day, he will sit in silence, and the memories will hit him like a storm. The way you supported him when no one else did. The way you believed in him when even he doubted himself. The way you stood beside him, not because you needed him, but because you chose him. And he will finally understand. He was not the one who deserved to walk away. He was the one who should have fought to stay. But by the time that realization comes, it will be too late. Because you are not waiting. You are not sitting in the shadows, hoping he figures it out. You are rising. You are stepping into a power he will never get close to again. And the woman he once knew, the one who would have given him another chance, she no longer exists. You are stronger now. You are untouchable. You are a queen. Queens, hear me when I say this. You do not wait for a man to wake up. You do not sit around hoping he sees your worth. you already know your worth. And while he drowns in regret, while he feels the pain of knowing he lost something rare, you will be too busy living the life he was too blind to appreciate. Write this affirmation in the comments and claim it. No other love will feel like mine, and that truth will break him. Let the world know that from this moment on, you are done chasing, done proving, done waiting. And if this message lit a fire inside you, if it reminded you of the power you've always had, like this video and subscribe. We are here, working hard to bring you the truth, to remind you of the strength, the beauty, the unstoppable force that you are. Because you were never meant to be replaced. You were meant to reign. Number 5. His own reflection will turn against him. Have you ever seen a man avoid his own reflection? Not because of what's on the outside, but because of the truth staring back at him, the truth that he lost you. At first, he won't notice it. He will go about his life, believing he made the right choice, thinking he can move forward without a second thought. But time is not on his side. As the days pass, as your silence grows heavier, the weight of his own choices will start pressing down on him. And one day, he will stand in front of the mirror, and he won't recognize the man looking back. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." And right now, his ambitions were weak. He thought he could replace you. He thought he could find another love, another presence, another warmth like yours. But what he failed to understand is that a love like yours is not something a man stumbles upon twice. It is not something easily replaced. And the longer he goes without you, the more he will feel it. At first, he will try to distract himself. He will fill his days with noise, with people, with anything that keeps him from facing the emptiness left behind. But time is relentless. It has a way of peeling away distractions, stripping away illusions, until all that remains is the raw truth. And that truth is simple. He lost something irreplaceable, and no matter what he does, he can never get it back. Think of a man standing at the edge of a lake. When the water is disturbed, he sees nothing but ripples, chaos, movement. But as time passes, as the water settles, a reflection appears, a clear, undeniable image of himself staring back. That is what's happening to him. Right now, he is living in the ripples, distracted, unaware, convinced that life is fine without you. But soon, the water will still. Soon, he will be forced to see himself clearly. And what he will see is a man who made the wrong choice. He will start noticing the little things first. How his life feels emptier, even in a crowded room. How laughter doesn't sound the same. How conversations feel shallow, lacking the depth he once had with you. He will see it in the way no one else understands him the way you did. In the way no one else challenges him, supports him, or makes him feel like a king the way you once did. And as these realizations pile up, he will begin to resent his own reflection. Because the man staring back at him is a man who let go of something he should have held on to forever. And then the regret will come, heavy, unshakable. At night, when everything is still, when there is no more noise to distract him, that's when the truth will scream the loudest. He will wonder why he didn't fight harder, why he thought he could replace something so rare, why he believed he could walk away without consequences. And in that moment, he will realize the most painful truth of all. He was never the one in control. Time was. And time has shown him what a fool he was. But you, Queen, you are not looking in that same mirror. You are not lost in regret. You are not questioning your worth. Because you have stepped into something greater. You have risen above the pain, above the doubts, above the past. You are no longer the woman who waits for a man to wake up. You are the woman who rises without hesitation, the woman who does not shrink to fit into a space that was never meant for her. He left? Let him. Let time be his lesson. Let regret be his shadow. Because while he is stuck in the past, you are building a future so radiant, so untouchable, that by the time he looks up, you will already be gone. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. The man who lost me will never recognize himself again. Let the world know that you are done waiting, done hoping, done looking back. And if this message reminded you of your power, like this video and subscribe. We are here to remind you of the truth, to bring you wisdom that sets you free. Because you were never meant to be forgotten. You were meant to reign. Number 6. Memories of you will burn, more than any fire could. Have you ever noticed how some memories refuse to fade? How a scent, a song, a place can bring back everything in an instant. He thought he could move on, thought time would erase you. But what he doesn't know yet is that time is not his savior. It is his enemy. Because time does not erase real love. Time does not make a man forget a woman who was once his safe place, his fire, his greatest comfort. Instead, time makes those memories sharper, stronger, more painful. And the longer he goes without you, the more those memories will burn. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Right now, he believes that moving forward means leaving you behind. He thinks he has replaced what he had with you, that he can fill the spaces you once occupied with distractions, with new faces, with empty moments. But love like yours does not get replaced. It lingers, it haunts, it ignites a fire inside him that will only grow as time stretches on. And one day, when he least expects it, those memories will hit him like a wave he cannot escape. At first, he won't notice. He will be too distracted, too caught up in the illusion that life without you is just fine. He might even convince himself that he made the right choice. But then, little things will start to shift. He will walk into a room and swear he smells your perfume. He will hear a song and feel a knot in his chest, because suddenly it doesn't just sound like music. It sounds like you. He will sit in silence, scrolling mindlessly, and without warning your name will come to mind, unshakable, uninvited. And as the days turn into months, as the seasons change, that fire will only grow. Think of an ember buried deep in ashes. At first, it seems like nothing, dim, lifeless, forgotten. But the moment the wind touches it, it ignites. That is exactly what will happen to him. Your absence will be the wind. Your silence will be the oxygen. And no matter how much he tries to suppress it, the fire of your memories will burn through him, stronger, hotter, more consuming than anything he has ever felt. He will start to wonder if he made a mistake. He will start to compare. He will try to convince himself that what he has now is enough. But deep down, he will know the truth. She is not you. She will never be you. The way you looked at him, the way you loved him, the way you made him feel, he will search for that feeling in every woman he meets, and he will never find it. Because love like yours does not come twice. But queens, listen to me. This is not about him. This is not about waiting for him to realize what he lost. Because while he is sitting in the wreckage of his own choices, you are rising. You are stepping into the woman you were always meant to be. You are no longer the woman who waits to be remembered. You are the woman who walks away and never looks back. Right now, he may not understand what he lost, but time will teach him. It will teach him through the quiet moments when he reaches for you and finds nothing. It will teach him through the hollow feeling that settles in his chest every time he thinks of what once was. It will teach him that he didn't just lose a woman, he lost his only chance at something real, and that realization, it will burn more than any fire ever could. Queens, this is your moment. The moment where you take back every piece of yourself that he once held. The moment where you stop wondering what could have been and start creating something greater. Because you were never meant to be a memory that fades. You were meant to be a force that leaves an unforgettable mark. Write this in the comments and claim it. He will feel my absence like a fire that never dies. Let the world know that you are done waiting, done hoping, done proving your worth to a man who didn't see it when he had the chance. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of the power you've always had, like this video and subscribe. We are here to remind you of your strength, your value, your unstoppable power. Because queens, you were never meant to be forgotten. You were meant to reign. Number 7. The future he once saw with you will become his greatest regret. Have you ever watched a man look at something he once held in his hands, something he once called his own, only to realize it's now out of his reach forever? The moment he understands that the future he once saw with you is gone, that will be his greatest regret. He thought he could walk away, that time would make it easier, that he could rewrite his story without you. But time has a cruel way of showing a man the truth. And the truth? He did not just lose you, he lost the life he was meant to have. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And right now, he is wasting time believing he can replace you, thinking he can build something new without feeling the weight of his choices. But time is not his friend. Every day that passes, every step he takes in the wrong direction, he is moving further from the life that could have been. And one day, when he sees what he let go of, the woman he underestimated, the love he took for granted, the future he once had within reach, he will break in ways even time cannot heal. At first, he won't feel it. He will distract himself, convincing himself that walking away was the right choice. He might even feel relief, thinking he has moved forward. But as time stretches on, as the newness of his choices fades, as life begins to settle, he will start to see the cracks. He will wake up in a life that no longer feels right, in a space that no longer holds warmth. He will watch his own future unfold and realize, it was never meant to look like this. Think of a man standing on a dock, watching a ship sail away. He believed he had time, that he could come back whenever he wanted. He turned his back, walked away, distracted by other things. But when he finally looks back, when he finally realizes what that ship carried, it is already too far, too distant, too unreachable. He runs, he shouts, he waves, but it is no longer waiting for him. And that is exactly how time will punish him. The life he once saw with you, the love he thought would always be there, gone. He will see you, not as the woman he walked away from, but as the woman who became untouchable. He will look at your life, the way you rise, the way you glow, the way you no longer need him, and it will crush him. Because in the quiet moments, when there is no one left to distract him, when he is left alone with his thoughts, he will see it all. He will see the moments he wasted, the choices he made, the love he lost. And nothing will hurt him more than knowing he can never get it back. But queens, listen to me. This is not about him. This is about you, about stepping into the life you were always meant to have, about realizing that you were never waiting for him, you were waiting for yourself. Because while he is drowning in regret, while time is teaching him the lesson he never saw coming, you are building a future so beautiful, so powerful, that no man could ever take it from you. You were not made to be a man's regret. You were not made to be a memory he looks back on with pain. You were made to reign, and now is the time to step into that power. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, because the life ahead of you, it is yours to claim. Queens, write this in the comments and claim it. The future he lost is the one I am thriving in. Let the world know that you are done looking back, done waiting, done questioning your worth. And if this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of the power you've had all along, like this video and subscribe. We are here, working hard to bring you the truth, the strength, and the lessons that will change your life. Because queens do not beg. Queens do not chase. Queens rise. Number 8. The day he wants to reach out will be the day he realizes it's too late. Have you ever noticed how people only realize what they had once it's already gone? How a man who once ignored your presence suddenly remembers your name when it's too late. Right now, he thinks he has all the time in the world. He believes that if he ever wants to come back, he can. That if he ever feels like reaching out, you'll be there, waiting, hoping, holding on to the past. But what he doesn't know yet, what time will teach him, is that the day he finally wants to reach out will be the day he realizes he no longer can. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And right now, he doesn't feel the pain. Right now, he's caught up in distractions, convinced that walking away from you was the right choice. But time doesn't move in his favor. The longer he goes without you, the deeper the silence grows, the stronger the regret will become. Because time doesn't erase the past, it sharpens it. Every moment you shared, every look, every laugh, every piece of you he once took for granted will begin to haunt him. And when the weight of his choices finally becomes unbearable, when he picks up his phone to reach out, to see if there's still a way back, he will realize the truth. He is too late. At first, he won't understand it. He will send a message, expecting a response. He will wait, thinking that maybe you didn't see it. But as the hours turn into days, and the days into weeks, the truth will hit him like a storm. The woman he once knew is gone. The door he assumed would always be open is locked. And the life he thought he could return to, it no longer includes him. Think of a man standing at a train station, watching a train pull away. At first, he doesn't panic. He believes another one will come. He assumes that if he waits long enough, if he changes his mind, he can still get to where he wants to go. But as time stretches on, as the realization sinks in, he finally understands there is no other train. The one he was meant to be on is already gone, moving forward, leaving him behind. And no matter how much he regrets, no matter how badly he wishes he could turn back time, he cannot catch what is no longer within his reach. That is exactly what will happen to him. Right now, he does not see the value of your absence. He believes his life will move on without consequence. But time is unforgiving. It has a way of revealing what the heart refuses to see. And when the silence becomes unbearable, when he realizes that no one else makes him feel the way you did, he will reach for you, only to find that you are no longer there. The love he thought he could take for granted is no longer available to him. The warmth he ignored is now a fire that no longer burns for him. And you are not waiting. You are not sitting by the phone, hoping he remembers. You are rising. You are stepping into a life that is bigger, brighter, more powerful than the one you left behind. Because you're not a woman who waits to be chosen. You're the woman who chooses herself. You're the woman who does not need to look back, because everything that is meant for you is ahead. There will come a day when he realizes he made the biggest mistake of his life. He will sit in silence, replaying every moment, wondering how he let go of something so rare. He will scroll through memories, feel the ache of missing you, wish he could undo the damage. But no matter how much he wants to, he will not be able to turn back time. The pain of losing you will become a lesson he cannot escape, and while he drowns in his regrets, you will be too far ahead to even notice. Queens, this is your moment. The moment you stop waiting, stop hoping, stop wondering if he will ever wake up. The moment you decide that your worth is not up for debate, because the longer he goes without you, the more it will hurt. And by the time he realizes it, you will be gone. Write this in the comments and claim it. By the time he realizes, I will be long gone. Let the world know that you are done waiting, done hoping, done holding space for a man who was blind to your worth. And if this message reminded you of the power you have always had, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are here, bringing you truth, strength, and the lessons that will set you free, because you were never meant to be an option. You were meant to reign.